Good morning, commissioners and staff. My name is Bruce Delgado, mayor of the city of Marina, one of the disadvantaged communities affected by this matter. The water landscape of Monterey Bay has changed. The people have spoken by vote to do what is feasible to buy out Cal-Am, so Cal-Am may not be around in the future. Cal-Am is hanging on with hope you will ignore all but those arguments that would continue their ability to own and operate for profit their Desal plant. At least 3 of the 6 Cal-Am service area mayors and both of the county supervisors in that area support the efforts of Public Water Now citizen group, which was behind the successful 2018 Measure J to buy out Cal-Am. The public now is asking you to ensure they can afford their water rates and to understand the following points. The 3,500 acre-feet Pure Water Monterey supply facility is now under construction, can be expanded another 2,250 acre-feet to increase the water supply portfolio to exceed water demand. This recycled water is projected at about 1/3 the cost compared to Desal, and the recycled water would not damage public access to the coast or environmentally sensitive habitat areas or our local groundwater, nor have the impact of greenhouse gas emissions the hugely energy-intensive Desal has. The recycled water is supported by the public in all jurisdictions, so would not be tied up with litigants and would avoid the CDO deadline. These latter points are important to Marina and the former Fort Ord community because we will receive 0 of the Desal water, yet it appears we are expected to shoulder all the risks and harm for yet another regional industrial project within our city. My hope is that your commissioners and the reputation of your commission ends up here on the right side of history, supporting our communities and coastal environmental health, as well as our ability to afford our water. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a policy here that there's no applause or booing or anything like that. So if you approve of something, you can go like this, and if you don't, you can go like this. Whatever you prefer. Don't flip me off again today, though, okay? All right, I have here Public Water Now. I have about 20-some slips. Are you in an organized group?
Yes.
Oh, great. Tell me, how would you like to proceed?
I need about 4 minutes, and the rest of my 5 speakers would need 3 each.
You have 5 speakers. I have 25.
There's some time was
Water
ceded.
Now?
Yes, time was ceded by others.
Okay, so you want 5. You have 5 other people
I
want?
need 4 minutes, the others just need 3 minutes each.
3 minutes. Okay. You can stick around up front and let me know.
So, I'm sorry, say that again?
I'm just saying, if you would kind of stick around if I get confused.
Okay.
Thank you. So your name is what?
My name is Melody Krislov.
Thank you.
I'm the Managing Director of Public Water Now. A little background. Today I'm representing our 3,500 Monterey Peninsula members. Public Water Now is the organization that put Measure J on the ballot last November. Measure J asked for a public buyout of California America's water. We asked, and 24,000 voters said yes. It was passed with 56% of the vote. The buyout process is currently in the feasibility study phase with results due in August. For decades, our community has faced serious water supply problems under Cal-Am's ownership. Cal-Am's illegal, costly, and environmentally damaging desal plant is not the solution we want. It's only supported by certain special business interests, not our community as a whole. We have a more cost-effective and environmentally superior solution available to us. We don't need to steal Marina's groundwater. The Pure Water Monterey project could provide us with over 5,700 acre-feet of water by December 2021 to meet the state's CDO deadline. It gets us off the Carmel River and gives us water for decades of growth. It has a proven permitting path with no legal obstacles. In contrast, Cameron slant wells draw from an already overdrafted groundwater basin and face insurmountable legal challenges because they have no water rights. They would increase seawater intrusion and endanger Marina's groundwater. Slant wells for desal have not been proven feasible. Before you issue any permit, we ask that you do a professional, independent analysis. Please don't trust Cal-Am on this. We don't want to pick up the bill for another failed project. We're already paying $34 million for Calen's past failures with no new water to show for it. Pure Water Monterey is clearly the superior environmental choice. It uses less energy and emits lower levels of greenhouse gases. It's powered by 70% renewable energy from landfill gas, and it captures pollutants that would otherwise flow into the Monterey Bay. This project is not in the coastal zone and has no coastal impact. Vital to our community is the fact that this recycled water will cost $2,100 an acre foot, compared to Calen's Desal water at $5,000 to $7,500 per acre foot. We already have extraordinary water costs, with residents paying hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month for water. Please look at the Pure Water Monterey expansion seriously. It's a much better water supply solution for the Peninsula. We need water, not years of litigation. Members of the audience that agree with my statements, please stand. All right. There's a lot of them out there. I didn't know how many. Thank you. Okay, my next speaker is Phil Wellman.
Thank you. And Phil, you want 3 minutes?
Yes,
Thank
please.
you.
That's all. Good morning. My name is Phil Wellman with Public Water Now. Callahan slant wells are experimental and the project faces litigation, but we need water now. We ask you to consider the alternative to Callahan's proposed desal plant, the Pure Water Monterey recycled water project. Serious questions about Callahan slant wells remain unanswered. There are approximately 20,000 desal plants operating worldwide. None of them use slant well intakes. The State Water Board demanded slant wells for desal if feasible, but their feasibility has never been addressed in a comprehensive report. Callahan stated that the test slant wells would cost $4 to $6 million. The cost to date is over $21 million, and those costs fall completely on the ratepayers. Callahan's original plan was to use a 1,000-foot shaft to pull seawater from under the ocean beyond the mean high tide line, but only 750 feet were drilled, and now the well is pumping brackish groundwater from an overdrafted basin inside the mean tide line. Why was the plan changed? Had the original 1,000-foot shaft been drilled, about 80% of the intake would have been under the ocean and free from any water rights question. Now, with the 750-foot intake, about 80% of the water is under land and subject to groundwater rights. This fact led to Marina's pending litigation. What legal or engineering lessons can be shared with permitting agencies, the industry, and the public? After all, the test slant well was an experiment to generate knowledge. Where is the report? Will it be peer-reviewed for engineering design, cost, and operational benefit? Please require Callahan to make a full report to the Commission and the public on the feasibility of these slant wells. Don't rubber stamp these slant wells, please. We need your help. Don't force the wrong solution on our community. Please look at the alternative. The Pure Water Monterey recycled water project is ready to go and is supported by the state's new policy on recycled water use. It uses proven technology and has already been permitted. The water cost for Pure Monterey is $2,100 an acre foot compared to $5,000 an acre foot for Callahan's desal. Pure Water's Monterey is less than half the cost of Callahan's water. We trust you will make the wise and logical decision.
Thank you.
Please raise your hand if you agree.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
In the group?
Good morning, my name is Michael Beer, I'm with Public Water Now. Chair Bochco, Commissioners, Director Ainsworth, and staff. Welcome back to our county. I'm pleased to see that we are in Salinas this time. That's great. I want to praise your work on the environmental justice policy document. It's a good scaffold. And across the state, and already several times today, we've heard residents will be looking to see that your actions and how those actions align with that policy going forward. I want to praise Mayor Delgado. He said in 2 minutes what is almost impossible to cover. Really, he just really put it all in perspective. And now I want to go back to something. I was going to speak about science, but there's not enough time. So I'd like to go back to something Jeff Dobby said yesterday morning, co-chair of the Business Coalition Monterey. He was on that side of the room. A bunch of us were on this side of the room yesterday. That represents the divide in our community. So he said essentially, do not be distracted by the vocal minority presenting last-minute arguments to try to derail the project. Well, he was right about one thing. We're vocal. We're not a minority, as demonstrated by Measure J. Over 24,000 voters, 55.8% of the vote in November 2018 said we no longer trust Cal-Am. They've been in our community for 50 years. They've delivered no water, new water supply. They've overdrafted our resources. And we have the highest water costs in the country, despite the fact that water doesn't cost a penny, the water itself. As far as last minute, in November of 2014, this body approved the test slant law in Morro Bay. We were there then, and for the last 5.5 years, I've been traveling the state to talk to you periodically, as have other members. It's not last minute. What's last minute, actually, is Mr. Dobby, who's only been co-chair of this Monterey group for the last 2 months. Now, the time's almost up, and I just want to say in terms of scientific review, there's over 10,000 pages of EIR from the draft document, the recirculated draft document, and the final. And it's now going to court to be asked to be recirculated again because it was incomplete. What's hidden in there is the truth. The last thing I'll just say is there are 4 categories where all this controversy is. Legal, environmental, scientific rigor, and economic.
Thank you, sir. Who's the next in the group? State your name and brief name.
My name is Amy Anderson. I'm here to speak on behalf of Public Water Now. Good morning, and thank you, Commissioners, for the opportunity to speak to you today. Much of what I have to say has already been said, but I think it's important enough to repeat. The Coastal Commission will soon be asked to approve the permit for Cal-Am's Desal project in Marina. The Peninsula's concerns about Cal-Am are many, and critical issues demand the Commission's attention before a permit decision is made. We have available the perfect new water supply solution through the Pure Water Monterey project. Selected in March 2019 to receive $4+ million federal grant, is one of the highest ranked projects among 24 applicants across the nation. 3,500 acre-feet of recycled water is scheduled to come online this summer and will be less than half the cost of Cal-Am's Desal. Additionally, another 2,250 acre-feet is available. This 5,750 acre-feet total is available without legal complications and would meet the 2021 cease and desist order. The plan is environmentally superior to Desal and is much less costly in energy use, as has been said a number of times this morning. The only roadblock is that Cal-Am refuses to sign a water purchase agreement for this additional water, which we find to be unconscionable. Right on cue, in December 2018, the State Water Resources Control Board amended their policy for recycled water. The legislature's intent is to require all water suppliers to increase the reuse of this essential resource and to decrease the flow of single-use water to the ocean and to estuaries. In addition, Senate Bill 332 will be considered soon that would require huge reductions in the amount of treated wastewater discharged into the ocean and estuaries, especially in regions where groundwater supplies are threatened, which defines the situation on the Monterey Peninsula. We know the problems surrounding Cal-Am's desal plant. Slant wells that are not being used for desal intake anywhere in the world, unproven slant well technology, costs that have skyrocketed from $6 million to over $21 million so far, withdrawal of fresh water from marinas already overdrafted aquifer, seawater intrusion and pending litigation and more to come. The Coastal Commission says that science matters, and we respectfully ask that you review the facts and the recent science on the impact of Cal-Am slant wells before you make a decision. Peninsula ratepayers don't want to pay for desal when a superior solution exists, and we have the opportunity to move in the direction favored by the State Water Board. It just makes sense.
Thank you.
So if you agree with me, please raise your hand.
Thank you. Who's next?
My name is Jim Emery from Public Water Now. You've heard several times about the cost saving and other savings, and so I'll try to skip over some stuff that's strictly repetitive. I might emphasize a little more than has been done, the energy saving of recycled water versus desalination water. Given our climate problem, energy saving is an extremely important issue, and that should, I think, be taken into account. There are significant environmental advantages of recycled water. Increased ocean, reducing the problems with desalination, such as increased ocean salinity near shore and increased seawater intrusion into nearby freshwater resources. It also avoids the, as you've heard several times, unproven slant well water intake. Pure Water Monterey can expand using 6,000 to 8,000 acre-feet of wasted water now being released into the bay, thus minimizing virtually all of the environmental footprint supplemental water acquisitions. The financial saving exists both in the initial capital construction and the operating cost, as you've heard. In short, the entire spectrum of both financial and environmental considerations strongly favor processing recycled water to high levels of potable quality over virtually all desalination technology. Numerous highly reliable studies have demonstrated the efficacy of recycling. Therefore, where adequate supplies of reusable water exist, as in our case, Monterey Peninsula, pursuing less optimal alternatives such as seawater desalination would be entirely irresponsible and, I might say, contrary to the goals of the Coastal Commission. Please support the current state policy to maximize the use of recycled water from the expansion of pure water. Please raise your hand.
Okay. Can you at least give me some idea where I am with the desal,
You have,
public water now, people?
yes, this is
Your
our,
last one?
I'm the last speaker.
Okay,
She's-
good. And so after that, anyone who's doing Cal-Am, desal,
She's the last of our organized speakers, but I noticed there were like, I think, 3 others that wanted to speak on this.
okay. I just want to remind everybody, the Coastal Commission has a half an hour of public comment in the morning, and so I'm being very liberal with you guys. I know you were upset with me yesterday, but we did have another hour at the end of the day. So I please ask you to be respectful of our policies as well. Thank you. Go
We
ahead.
really appreciate that, and maybe we weren't aware of what that was enough. So thank you very
And
much
actually,
for
that's
that.
very good to say, because in the future, when we come back, or if this item comes up again, what you all should do is contact staff and tell them what you need in
Yes.
terms of your presentations, and then we can handle it within the context of.
And we learned about that this morning.
Okay.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. And really, thank you for letting us speak. And I know some of what we're taking is redundant, so I'm just going to go through my speech and just say it again. And as President Bush said, we have to catapult the propaganda, so we're all here to say the same thing. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Commissioners, please delay. My name is Susan Schiavone, and I'm with Public Water Now, Seaside. Commissioners, please delay the permit for PWM slant wells until an independent analysis proves feasible. The Peninsula has a completely feasible alternative to Desal ready to go in the expansion of Pure Water Monterey. The expansion of this potable, recycled water makes sense both financially and environmentally. The Desal water is estimated at 5,000 to 7,000 acre-foot cost compared to 2,100 acre-foot for the recycled water. The Pure Water Monterey project, if expanded, could produce a total of 5,750 acre-feet annually. Adding to existing water supplies, this would be enough to cover the needs of the peninsula for decades. But PWM refuses to sign a water purchase agreement and instead continues to push for their experimental, environmentally damaging, and unnecessary desal plant. PWM is not in the coastal zone. The environmental footprint is small, and it can meet the state's CDO deadline. It will use less energy, emit lower levels of greenhouse gases, and it has 6,000 to 8,000 acre-feet of documented source water available. The Pure Water Monterey project also conforms to the State Water Resources Control Board's recently amended policy for water quality control for recycled water, encouraging the development of unutilized water resources to address the effects of climate change, drought, and water supply uncertainty. The policy was updated in December. It emphasizes statewide goals for increasing recycled water use in areas where wastewater is discharged into saline bodies and where groundwater supplies are threatened. This is precisely the situation on the Monterey Peninsula. Two specific goals of the amendment are, first, to support increased development and use of recycled water in a manner that protects the environment and public health as a strategy to mitigate the effects of long-term drought and climate change. Second, the goal is to minimize direct discharge of treated wastewater into bays and ocean waters. The policy also aims to maximize the use of recycled water in areas where groundwater supplies are in a state of overdraft. Please consider this new statewide policy and support the Pure Monterey Water Expansion in lieu of the expensive and problematic PWM Desal project. Thank you. Would everyone stand who agrees with this?
Thank you. All right, that does it for the water issue. I'm going to move on to people who have other presentations.